Hey everybody, welcome back to Biblical Seekers. On our last video, we covered the first beast of Daniel 7, which was also the head of gold, Babylon. So let's continue our study onto the second and third beast, which is also the chest and arms of silver, and the belly and thighs of brass. It's time to see the truth.
I saw in my vision by night.
Now, after Babylon, another kingdom came forth, in the form of another beast, which was like unto a bear, which we can read about in Daniel chapter 7, verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Now, as soon as Babylon was conquered in 539 BC, the second kingdom came up, and that one was represented by this bear raised up on one side. And what kingdom was it that conquered Babylon in 539 BC? Well, it was none other than Medo-Persia, and when they conquered Babylon, they also conquered Lydia and Egypt. Now let's see how precise God is on defining these details of prophecy out of history. So, as we notice, this bear is raised up on one side. God done this to represent how the Persians were stronger than the Medes. And these 3 rib bones represented 3 nations that Medo-Persia defeated: Babylon, Lydia, and Egypt. The Medo-Persians were represented as the chest and arms of silver in the statue of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And also, before Babylon was conquered, Nebuchadnezzar's son Belshazzar was warned when God wrote a message on the wall. And again, Daniel was able to interpret the writing on the wall. We can read about this in Daniel chapter 5, verse 25 through 28. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, tekel upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Purge, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. So I think it's clear that Medo-Persia is in fact the second beast out of the sea, and also the breast and arms of silver. And this kingdom ruled the Middle East from 539 to 331 BC. Now let's take a look at the third kingdom that will arise, which is described as the belly and thighs of brass, and the third beast that came up out of the sea, which is in Daniel chapter 7, verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, this next beast, or kingdom to arise, was Greece, a kingdom known for its swiftness of its conquest. And this kingdom was led by Alexander the Great. And Greece ruled from 331 BC to 168 BC. And Alexander died at an untimely young age of 33. And this beast also had 4 heads, which we can see how incredibly accurate Bible prophecy is with these 4 heads that represented Alexander's 4 generals: Cassander, Lysimachus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy, that divided up his kingdom. But what about the four wings? Well, let's go over to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. So from this, we can see that how an eagle flies is being described as being swift. And how does an eagle fly? With its wings, of course. So we can see that the wings are described as something that gives the eagle swiftness, which can also mean speed. So in other words, wings represent swiftness or speed, which is exactly how Greece, which was being led by Alexander the Great, took over more than 2 million square miles of land. And this kingdom rose faster than Babylon and Medo-Persia, hence the four wings. God also gave us more proof in Daniel 8, how Medo-Persia was conquered by Greece in a vision Daniel received of this goat that overpowered this ram. But who does this ram and goat represent? Well, let's read it in Daniel chapter 8, verse 20 through 21. The ram which thou sawest, having 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. So, Daniel 8 gives us more insight on these 2 beasts. And now, after Greece, came another kingdom, which is the 4th and final beast. And this kingdom is represented as being dreadful and terrible.